I love Yu-Gi-Oh! So much. This is why it's extremely painful to watch it officially fall off. This card game is going downhill and fast, and if they don't reverse course within the next year, I do think we actually could be in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying conversation. Years ago, I warned if Konami didn't dig its heels out of the sand, reverse some courses, that we could end up right here. And let's talk about it. We see this set falling out even further than when we last talked about it. We're after week 1, and this is $41 a box. For context, vendors are paying their distributions around $48 to $52 a box, depending on their deal and how much they order, etc. And with this, they're already taking a loss. Then on top of it, they're taking a 13% platform fee and shipping. So they're seeing around $30 a box, and this is after a week of having this in their hands. That's absolutely disgusting. Now, could this set reverse a little course after the WCQ and when we get Justice Hunters and when it mixes together a bit? Maybe people will be ripping it open more. But I saw people already starting to speculate, oh, this seems too cheap at $45, yet here it is dipping even further and faster, and people are trying to shove it out the door. Battles of Legend this year. This is $48 a box, which again, you might remember, oh, that's what they're paying maybe, except they're also taking that platform fee and shipping. And this is a successful line in Yu-Gi-Oh! For the most part, a lot of these sets have succeeded over time and have huge draws into them, yet another flop on the year. Alliance Insight. You think it can't get any worse? $33 a box. This is absolutely bad. This is starting to head towards some of our worst sets of all time's prices, yet these are new. They're supposed to last through the next year and through a reprint season, and if Yu-Gi-Oh's losing all of its reprint value, where's the future value in those sets? It's not going to be there. Quarter Century Stampede booster boxes. This is the successful set of the year, and guess what it's doing? Oh, it's falling off too. This is one of the higher MSRP sets. People felt extremely safe in it after the card choices, and it's starting to come down in price. Maze of the Master, TCG World Premiere exclusives in the set, and yeah, it's around $40 a box. Keep in mind, again, platform fees and shipping, they're taking way less than it is worth. And you can see why. When cards like Baroness in these are collector rare as the highest rarity, and they end up printed collector rare again, let alone before getting banned, stuff like that is going to end up turning people away from the chase model that is inside these world premiere and deck building sets, unless they just have 3 incredibly successful, amazing, game-changing sets. We've seen ones with multiple ones that took over, like we saw Tactical Masters, and it has Labyrinth, it's got Runic, it's taken over, and it's $40 a box. It's not enough just to have 2 warping sets in there with the model that keeps on failing and people don't want to bust open. Konami needs to revisit product and make it worth opening, and their current chase models don't do that. Supreme Darkness also falling off from this year, around $50 a box. Good job, the best core set so far that we've had. If you're counting, that's pretty much all the product this year outside the Blue Eye structure deck, which was doing very well for itself, and they've already unlimited waived it on demand, it seems, because they're able to put that unlimited out there. I think that when it comes down to reversing course, there are things they can do, but they're sticking themselves into a position where over half the whales, I think, have left the Yu-Gi-Oh community. And when we talk about whales, it's people who dive into product and they're going for certain singles as well out of the sets that help bolster our entire card economy. It's not trickle-down economics. It's more like giving a lightning rod of value towards certain cards, letting the competitive versions of the cards be a bit cheaper at times. And we're starting to lose a bit of that. And I'll give some specific examples. Here's Gaga Gaga Girl alternate art. It is a brand new art premiered with a great background. It looks good. It's a popular figure in Zexal, but Zexal's the Zoomer era of Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And it's doing nothing but going down. It's exclusive to the set. You're looking through 6 cases of boosters for this, and it's $35? That's pretty pathetic. But let's say it's the card choice, right? Here's DM Era, Little Yugis, alternate art exclusive and quarter century secret rare, Silent Magician level 8 at $15. Actually, I just bought that copy, so it's 20. Thanks, John Moore. But I decided to finally get this one for my collection, seeing that. Points aside, $20 for this every other booster case, so 2 booster cases to usually see it, 24 boxes card. Probably shouldn't be that low, and we can go through history and see, oh, it's quarter century secret rares not doing so hot. Maybe it's just fallen off, or it's that the whales are leaving, because once this ultra rare, upon a time, you can see it was 25 here, was $50 before a reprint, and it was not seeing play. It wasn't because of future support, it was because people just wanted to have this card for their collection once upon a time, and now these super special, sparkly, alter, crazy arts are doing nothing. They're just sitting there, pretty much rotting for the most part, and not adding value because we've lost most of the whales who would even look at Modern for their collection. I love the anime, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I still end up picking up stuff like this when the price is right for me, and it's not going to affect the market. And this is one I've talked about that I was going to be picking up, and I went ahead and got that copy. I think that when it comes down to it though, you're going to see less and less spending on cards and variants, even when they're like really easy to snap call for a collection versus where they once were, because we've lost the whales. The numbers are there. Number 107, another Zexal Zoomer card, but it's extremely popular and proved in the market for stuff like its Ultimate Rare and Ghost Rare. Here's an exclusive sparkly alter art, and it's $20. So both of these failing out the gate. It pretty much has to be Blue Eyes White Dragon or Dark Magician Girl. Nothing else in Modern seems to really pull the numbers. They all fall out if it's not those. Blue Eyes White Dragon here on buyout mode that we talked about recently, and the Ultimate Rare being ridiculous despite having horrid quality control. People waited so long for this version. Yeah, there's 2 successes of Modern collectibles, but it feels like if it is not Dark Magician Girl herself, Blue Eyes White Dragon itself, it's mostly falling out on the Modern market unless it's for past format play, which is its own discussion about how many people are flooding to member bear Yu-Gi-Oh! And the Konami tried to shoot it in the foot. Yeah, it's just a year, isn't it? But here's the problem. Konami's continuing on the trend. I do think that you can have a balance of both, by the way, of what we're about to talk about, but easy access Starlights are in the 10s. That means the highest rarity, the chase model in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is injected in here. The problem with that is that Konami chooses cards that were already like quarter century secret rare and will probably end up doing them, because with the Starlight rares, they had no problem doing that as well, unless they completely turn away from the model where they're like, oh yeah, you know what, Trishul already has a Starlight, put it in an easy access QCR, even though we used it to sell a set. That's the moment we lost the whales, unless they reverse and these easy access Starlights aren't of any cards that were QCR. You're not going to see any kind of return of our whales. And I don't think there's going to be any sign of that personally, but we'll have to wait and see, because these are our first easy access Starlights coming towards us. But when it comes down to those easy access quarter century secret rares, the top end of them are doing poorly now. This is the fallout from Stampede I was talking about. Not a single $100 card within the set. The value's not there for backing and chasing, and the sealed is falling out from that. Things like Trap Dust Shoot, I estimated would have been $60. They're $40. They're a third off of the price where I thought they would enter the market and only go up from there. It's crazy. And you're seeing stuff like Dark Magician not able to do it. Arcana's Dark Magician. People have waited for a high rarity of this for a very long time, and here it is, well under $50. You have the actual successful set over here, Bonanza, and it's got triple digit cards to a degree, not too many of them, and a lot of the cards are actually coming back down over time as hype leaves this rarity and attention leaves this rarity as well to some degree. Now, how can Konami fix this? Go back to the old deck building set model, all foil side sets, and stop shorting the ever-loving hell out of everything. If you're not aware, in the modern deck building sets, the ultra rares are just so hard to pull for all of them, where used to, in these sets, the ratios were glorious even on the short prints. Like, Invoked Macabre here, I think it was something like the data was 5.6 average per case on mass case openings, and that was the shortest card. So you're looking at almost every other box having one of these in a case. That's awesome. That's how you create a chase modern like kind of pull. Okay, this box could have it, this box could have it. It's worth diving in because it was a $60 card at the time. And then people are pulling tons of holographics, they're getting full decks, they're not getting pieces of it and having to go in a whole case. They only have to go in a few boxes, so everybody's gonna go in on a few boxes and have some fun. And if you want the singles, oh, there's leftovers from there. It created an ecosystem with plenty that could still go up instead of product not worth opening, that's sitting there rotting, that's not providing really anything we can pull. So Konami has to go back to older models and older pull rates in order for us to see success in Yu-Gi-Oh! And for whales to return even, in my opinion. When we talk about cards being easier to pull and whales being there, they can end up getting their playsets easier and in cheaper and continue to get more and build that collection and it feel fulfilling at a good price. Everybody wins, the top end, the lower end, and it's at Konami choking out that value from our product that is killing Yu-Gi-Oh! And then we also have what I would consider the reset button to Yu-Gi-Oh! Is needed. Duelist Alliance did that for us. We saw a ban list that really cleared away, and we had 3 decks that premiered, and then we started power creeping once again. But to have that kind of triangle format and then the evolution of it and going forward, I think that's kind of what Yu-Gi-Oh! Needs. And will Justice Hunters do that with its 3 archetypes in a ban list? I don't think so. It reaches back too far and combines with things like Versus and has cards people that already would be so expensive to achieve needed for the canine, and it just doesn't feel the same right out of this deck building set. So I think Konami needs to look at kind of the formula of a reset through cards, because that can be done through a set. Create a set that is a purposeful reset through power creep of the game, yet still makes accessible play. True Draco, a lot of people hated facing it, but it allowed people to play at a lower skill ceiling. Cosmo's another great example. At the time, a lot of people hated playing against Cosmo, big untargetable ship, but they could still play high ceiling skill combo tree games. I'm stuttering because I'm very passionate about this, by the way. I have a lot of emotion tied into this conversation, but I want Yu-Gi-Oh! To be successful. If there's ever a turnaround point, it's right now. If it's to stop falling, it's right now, because we don't have a gateway back into the game. Master Duel's lost its traction. Rush Duel would be its own thing. We don't have a new player experience that's good. And if you want to recapture the entire base, you need to treat whales a little bit better. You need to create something that's worth it for them. You need to have an ecosystem that's good for the average player and product for stores to be able to thrive. And I just don't see Konami turning it around within a year's time, but I can hope. Thanks for watching today's video. Please subscribe if you haven't already, if you can stand a little dooming here and there. I do try to talk about Konami's positives when they're there, but lately it's been a lot of L's with only a couple dubs.